Hi, welcome to day two of the MST Expert Training in Cultural Humility. Today we're going to talk about some important modeling in the classroom or the training room, and then also about how to have difficult conversations. So I'm going to share. I think that you can see that okay. In 2022, Ward et al. Did a qualitative study of 29 MSW students. Key takeaways from this study reinforced what the research has already documented, including the importance of faculty addressing their positionality, modeling how to have difficult conversations about oppression and race, and normalizing for students the challenging nature of this material. So in this study, some of the feedback from the students included that if the instructors talked about their own experiences first, that eased the tension. This allowed others to participate as they were comfortable. Students felt safer when conversations were more structured by the instructor, excuse me. Students felt more likely to participate when ground rules were clear ahead of time. And the students interviewed consistently reported that difficult conversations about differences helped them become better practitioners. So let's think about when a difficult conversation is coming up and how we can support everyone to stay in a difficult moment. Interactive conversations promote more learning than presenting didactic information. Ironically, here I am presenting didactic information, but you'll soon have a chance to talk about it. Verbally encourage and reward those who speak up and take risks. And you need to manage participation so that everyone has time to talk. So you want to include time to think about a response prior to asking for a response. That might mean there's a minute of silence where people make notes before they speak. You may lead the conversation by asking a quieter person to share first. You may need to kind of keep track who's taking up most of the space and to ensure that everyone has a chance to respond. And sometimes you may ask everyone to respond. It can be helpful to revisit the universality of implicit bias as part of discussing race and racism. Implicit bias is an evolutionary cognitive shortcut that helps our brains process large amounts of data. You want to make sure the class has shared language with definitions understood by everyone. So it might be helpful to develop a glossary of shared terms. Some terms that are helpful to define include institutional racism, structural racism, individual racism. It's important to recognize race as a non-genetic, non-biological construct. So the US census has changed how racial groups have been defined over time. The definition of racial groups varies widely between countries. Race is primarily a social construct created for socio-political purposes. Race is but one of many social identities, and every identity can be marginalized. Intersectionality describes how living at the intersection, multiple marginalized identities can magnify the detrimental impact on one's lived experiences. A focus on deficits alone is disheartening and disempowering. If strategies to address race and racism are not covered, clients and supervisees can become hopeless and disengaged. And this holds true for the classroom environment too. If we just end on disparities and hopelessness, you will have less participation in class because people will feel like there's nothing they can do. So we want to make sure that we're also talking about strategies. Just like in yesterday's micro lecture, I ended with talking about the post-traumatic growth framework, right? Because that's a step forward. Thanks so much for joining me today.